Hey, it's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be looking at The Mighty Crusaders, The Shield, #1 by Archie Comics. This is a one-shot that came out in 2021. Kind of an odd title. It's almost got like two titles. Is it The Mighty Crusaders or is it The Shield? I almost think they were trying to do like an anthology series called The Mighty Crusaders where each issue was highlighting a character from the Mighty Crusaders, and this one highlighting this guy, the Shield, the leader of the team. But this series never got past one issue. They actually put one shot on the cover there, so they knew this was not going past one issue, even though once we get into it, you'll see that this issue does set up an entire series that never happened. And why didn't that series happen? Well, a lot of it has to do with Rob Liefeld, the main artist, and through no fault of his own, it was nothing he did, but he quit after this one shot, after this first issue, and so they never continued this series. But the reason he quit, and I don't have all the details, this is just from what I've learned from hearing him talk about this on his podcast and on his X account. But from what I understand is some of the preview pages got leaked early by somebody who worked for Archie Comics, and this upset Liefeld. It probably also voided his contract, went against his contract. So because some of his pages got leaked early, he just quit the project and stopped working with Archie Comics altogether. So that's why this series never went past this one shot. And I do have this cover by Rob Liefeld here. And I also got the cover by Jerry Ordway. So I got two of the variant covers. So you can definitely see the change in style and between like the Silver Age, 70s and 80s style that Jerry Ordway really employs perfectly. I mean, Jerry Ordway, former Superman artist. So I was really looking for this cover, actually. I really wanted this cover by him and was able to find it recently because I love the style that he employs. But you can see the contrast between his style and then when you get into the 90s and you see kind of Rob Liefeld's style of just really extreme, big muscles, the really like fine inking lines here. It looks just darker too. I don't mean in color necessarily, but also just in tone. You can see some of the kind of differences in some of the costumes too, as this is the classic look of these characters. And then we got Liefeld doing kind of an updated look for all of these characters. You see the Comet here. There's Jaguar, Fly Girl, and the Black Hood, who looks a lot different than he does in Jerry Ordway's there. But now the Shield was a Archie Comics superhero team. I believe it was created in the 30s, and DC did have the rights, the license to them for a while. I think DC published some Shield books. There was the Impact Comics imprint in the early 90s, which published some comic books. Some of these pages don't necessarily seem like they tell a story like sequentially, and it feels like the writer kind of had to piece it together himself and make it all make sense, because a lot of these just kind of look like maybe just drawings or perhaps variant covers that were never used. It's kind of hard to tell. There is kind of a main story here throughout the middle, and you can tell that these pages all kind of go together, but they're bookended by two kind of scenes involving the team. And we'll just kind of get into it here. I'll try to explain why this just feels a little off to me and doesn't necessarily feel like a finished comic book, but I'll let you decide and make up your own mind. So we get the Shield right away, a very extreme, different looking Shield from the future, as we find out. Kind of a Cable-esque look to him. Of course, Liefeld always draws these, I guess they're supposed to be like guns or something. He always puts those on the backs of all of his characters. But you never see the bottom side of it coming out anywhere. It's just, they're always on the top there. And so this is the patriotic superhero known as the Shield. William Higgins is his real name, it says. And then we go to the team. And so it's kind of jarring, because if you're reading this, it's almost like, is he facing all of these guys? But no, this is just like a flash forward, and then we go back and we got the team, and we find out that they're all facing this version of the Shield, the female version of the Shield. They're all talking to her, and she's explaining this future version of the Shield to all of them. So we do get a nice establishing team shot here. No real story being told by this page. They're just all kind of standing there. But one thing you get with Liefeld too, that's hard not to see once you see it, it's hard to unsee it, is his faces all look the same. The mouths, the eyes, they all look the same. He'll always just add like headgear or masks or something to kind of differentiate characters. But I mean, he's not the only artist to do that. Even a great artist like Jim Lee, when you look at the faces that Jim Lee will put in his artwork, it's they all look the same. You just have to add like little parts to different features to their costumes to make them look different. So we've got all the characters here: Fly Girl, Captain Commando, Jaguar, Black Hood, Comet, Fox, and Lancelot Strong, who it says used to be one of the holders of the Shield. Now, there is no actual shield being used, like Captain America has a shield. And this character was actually created before Captain America. But like I said, he does not use a shield. His costume, his armor is the shield. And so we get into the story here, and it just goes from this female Shield explaining to the team that they need to find Joe Higgins. And we go to Joe Higgins just sitting in a chair here. For some reason, he's like in his apartment, but he's sitting in costume watching TV about himself. So I guess he just sits around in his armor. He's just like spread eagle too, sitting on the chair. Not a very realistic pose to be sitting in a chair. But then the action just kicks in. Somebody kicks open the door here. I guess this is the door. And then someone flies in through the window. And we immediately just get multiple pages of action here as these ops are attacking the Shield. No backgrounds as usual on a Liefeld page. Just, it's all action and figure drawing, which of course, Liefeld isn't the best at anatomy, but that doesn't really matter when it comes to his artwork, because it's just all about the action and the energy that he's bringing. Like, you look at these arms here, and if you brought the arms down, they would be so short. And this body is so wide. So, not a master of anatomy, but Liefeld definitely brings it with the intensity and the action. And there's just, even though there's like little inconsistencies and, weirdness with his anatomy, there's just something about his artwork that just draws you to it. There's just something about it you can't put your finger on. But there's little things that are pretty annoying, like when he'll draw like these heads here from this top-down view, and he'll just draw circles for heads. There's no features at all on them. Even when you think there should be, like on this top-down drawing here, you'd think you'd be able to see a nose or some eyes. No, it's just a circle. So, kind of lazy. Definitely kind of lazy with the way that he draws these heads, and there's no backgrounds on a lot of these. But the Shield punches these guys out the window. They go outside the building here, although you wouldn't really know it. He just drew these two windows here in a straight line down for a building. So you kind of have to make your own guesses about where you are. A helicopter comes out of the void here. They're looking for his armor. They want to steal his armor. Of course, he's not going to let them have it. I love Liefeld's inks, though. I think he does his own inks on this. I think he always does his own inks anymore. Yeah, it's story and art by Liefeld, so Jack Morelli's doing the letters. He's the only other person on this artwork here, but I really love Liefeld's inks, like in this smoke here. I mean, it looks pretty fast and simple, but it works really well. I think Liefeld would be one of the best inkers if he would just ink other people's stuff. Because his actual drawing, I don't think, is his strongest ability. I think it's his inking. Like, you look at a figure like this, it doesn't look right. The arms are too small, the body's too big. But stuff like this, the smaller drawings that Liefeld does, I think look really good. I think once he goes bigger, I think his art gets worse the bigger he goes. So we get this drawing here is in a totally different style. Like, it's colored in a different style too. It looks like the same style as this cover here, the way it's colored. Which again makes me think they're just piecing together like maybe different pieces of Liefeld's art that maybe didn't go together in this book. And this almost looks like a variant cover that just got put in the book as a page because they needed another page. It's even got the signature on it, which you don't get in a lot of interior pages. You don't get a lot of signatures, which makes me think this was originally intended to be a cover. So then we get, see, this is the kind of stuff Liefeld does that's so annoying. In this panel here, he's got this strap on his chest here where he's got the guns on his back. And of course you don't see the guns poking out behind his hip or anything. But in all the other panels, he doesn't have that. Like, I could understand maybe from page to page if you're drawing pages on different days, forgetting something, but this is in the same page. So it's just crazy. Again, we get another team shot, which not very much different from the other team shot earlier in the book where they're just all standing there. You know, no story really being told here in these pages at all. I do like the character designs that he's employed here, though. This looks like a cool team. I would like to see more adventures with the Mighty Crusaders. But kind of an underwhelming end. Just another page of her just standing there, which very similar to the page we saw earlier, where she's just standing there. And I guess the reveal of Dusty Simmons, who it says is a former boy detective and the current Crusaders liaison. So he's like their man in the chair. And she says Joe Higgins must die. So we learn that the Crusaders are going to be going after the Shield here. So, which I guess is the big swerve because you thought they were going to be all on the same team. But we never find out what happens because, again, there is no follow-up and this was just a one-shot. But I really like the lettering in here, like the lettering on the Joe Higgins Must Die there by Jack Morelli and the end there. I mean, all the words are easy to read. There's some great sound effects in here. Jack Morelli, one of my favorite letterers, if you can really get into letterers. He does a lot of work with Eric Larson and Savage Dragon too. And so I would go check out some of that stuff. You can see definitely Savage Dragon always has lots of sound effects and lots of action like in this comic. So, but it was just a weirdly put together book. Again, it's bookended by these two scenes with the Crusaders, and then the middle portion is just this battle with the Shield, battling all these special ops guys. And it just feels a little disjointed, and makes me wonder if some of these pages were maybe meant for the second issue, or who knows, but feels almost unfinished to me. And unfortunately sets up some things that I would be kind of interested to read, but we're never gonna get it. But let me know what you think about this, The Shield. Did you ever pick this one up? Did you read it? What do you think about it? Do you like Rob Liefeld's work? Let me know in the comments. And thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I do post daily comic book reviews. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Go read comics.